It's time to multiply rational expressions. Okay, we're actually going to talk about multiplication and division in this segment. Now, when we're looking at multiplying and dividing, the steps for multiplication and division are quite similar. Remember that division just has one step that's different. So we're going to go through multiplication first, and then I'll show you the steps and we'll do the division. Okay? Now, here is our rational expression. Well, here are the rational expressions that we're multiplying. Okay? Now, the first thing that we have to do when we're multiplying rational expressions is factor both numerators and both denominators. Okay? So let's dig right in. We have this trinomial here. We're going to factor. So we're looking for factors of 10 that are going to give us a sum of -3. Okay, now we know that we are going to have a positive and a negative. I know factors of 10 are 5 and 2. So -5 and a positive 2 will work there. Okay. Let's take a look at the denominator here. We're going to factor this one. And if I look at, we have P there. Again, positive and negative. We want factors of 12 that are going to give us a sum of -4. Okay, so I know factors of 12, 6, and 2. If we have a -6 and a positive 2, that would work. Give us a sum of -4. Okay, now let's take a look over here. Now, over here, this top, the numerator here, it's 6 minus P. Now, if I take a look at that, that's actually -P plus 6, right? Now, because I want to try to find a common factor in the denominator, and I know that I have a positive P minus 6 here, and this is a -P plus 6, I know that if I factored out a -1, actually, I'll do this down here. If I factor out a -1 here, then I would have -1 times P minus 6, okay, in my numerator. Now my denominator is a difference of squares. So I have P plus 5 and P minus 5, okay. Now, here we have numerator and denominator factored for both expressions. Okay, now when we multiply these together, remember when you multiply fractions, you just multiply straight across. So if we were to rewrite this, I'm not going to right now, but we'd multiply it straight across, everything would be on the same line, okay? So now I'm going to look for factors in the numerator that are also in the denominator. So I see straight away that I have P plus 2. I have, oh yeah, my P minus 6 here. And then I think, yep, I have a P minus 5 here too. Okay, so now the only thing that I have left in the numerator position is a -1. And all that I have left in the denominator is P plus 5. Okay, so my product here is 1 over P plus 5. Okay, and here again are the steps for multiplying rational expressions. Okay, let me flip the page here. Okay, and these are the steps for dividing rational expressions. So if you were to compare these steps to the steps for multiplication, you'll notice that the only difference in division is this first step right here where it starts out as a division problem. And based on what we know about dividing fractions, that we first flip that second fraction and then we just multiply straight across. Okay, so if I take a look over here at this expression, okay, see it's this fraction here divided by this one here, okay? My first job is to flip these two expressions, okay? So actually I think what I'll do is I'll just go like this. I'm going to move this one, just going to move the top one down here. So it'll be x squared minus 2x minus 48. Okay, so that was in the numerator. And now it's in the denominator there, okay? And we're no longer dividing. Now we want to multiply these two, okay? Now we go back to our steps for multiplication because the first thing we need to do is to factor both numerators and denominators, All right, so let's start here. We're going to have x plus and x minus. Okay, we're looking for factors of 32 that give us a negative 4. Factors of 32, 8, and 4. So if we have a negative 8, positive 4, that'll give us a negative 4. Okay, now down here in the denominator, we have factors of 12. Oh yeah, positive 3 and a positive 4. Okay, now we're going to multiply by what we have over here. So we need factors of 4 that give us a sum of 3. We have a positive and a negative, so that must be x plus 4, x minus 1. Okay, and now we want factors of 48 that give us a sum of negative 2. So x, we're positive and a negative, 6 and 8, obviously. So minus 8 plus 6. Now remember, when we multiply our fractions, we just multiply straight across. So I can just say that we multiplied these straight across. Now they're all on the same line. Okay. All right, now let's look for common factors in the numerator and the denominator. Over here I have an x plus 4. Oh, I have an x minus 8. Okay, and that's it. So in the numerator I have left x plus 4, x minus 1. X plus 4, x minus 1. And in the denominator I have left over x plus 3 and x plus 6. Okay? All right, okay. And that is dividing rational expressions. So you can go ahead and go to the review right now and practice the multiplication and division of rational expressions.